The one yesterday, it should have downloaded way sooner. And then because the other one was holding it up and it made it take all day to download. And that was the last time too. When I got up in the morning and the ones from the day before were still downloading, I was like, I don't know about this. Doesn't seem like it's I don't know, it's just weird. It's different. But I said that I would do a live one, and I didn't do a long one this morning. But if it's taking time to download, then I'll do this one. I'll just kind of talk about a little bit of the stuff that I was talking about because mostly I just was talking about is fucking weird. Like, it is so weird right now. I just can't even believe that, uh, like, I'm sure everybody's gotta be feeling so weird. It's like being a character in a story and the pages of the story are disappearing or something. It's like this world, this story is, like, disappearing or something, and then it's like this detachment or some I don't know how to explain it. I feel so weird. I feel so weird, like, it's to the point where it starts feeling like you're losing your mind, like you're going crazy. One of the things too that is, I think the hardest, like I'm like overthinking and overthinking. Why do I keep seeing things that other people don't see? Like that is tripping me out. Like it is messing with my mind so much where and but all of the stuff that I keep seeing is all accurate. It's all real. It all keeps happening. So I know I'm not crazy, but this feels the weirdest. Like all the different times when I thought things were weird, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Like it very much like this 5D concept or whatever is so much just openness. Like is your reality that you're creating and it is like this transitioning into that state of mind or something, and that state of mind is so open and vast and overwhelming, especially when you're in this reality where people keep trying to pull you back in and pull you back in, and they're all focused on this stuff. And it was trippy too. This nice person named Joe sent me an email of somebody who's on YouTube who talks about the housing market and stuff. And so I was watching the video, this lady, Melody, I guess she's all on Twitter and stuff. Melody Wright. And she has been going and doing a bunch of studying about the housing market and what's been going on and, the things that she was explaining, although the people, this is what gets me with so many of the people who are talking about the economics and the stuff going on. It's like they don't see the big picture. They're still talking about it like we're in that reality. And that reality is going away. And they're still acting like it's a real thing. And so when they're talking, it's like, yeah, but let's talk about it when, on this other perspective. The government's crashing, the banks are crashing, like all this illegal shit is crashing, it's going away. And but her research, what she found, the corruption that I've been talking about in that fucking, it is like all of the builders, the realtors, the developers, the contractors, the inspectors. Like I told you, my house, there's no fucking way it passed an inspection. And they all have each other's backs. They all have these little loopholes. Well, if we do this, we can make a little extra money. Who cares what happens to us? Who cares if we get screwed over? And they're the ones who inflated all of these prices with the housing market from all of their shenanigans. So they are pricing us out of the system because of all of their corruption. So their corruption has to go away. Like this shit has to fall apart. It is crazy. I mean, when I could see and this, they're doing all of these little pop-up neighborhoods all over the place. And she even was referencing about how it used to be you went in and you picked your house and stuff like that. But that's why I said all these houses that this developer over here is doing, he is just sticking up these houses. And then it's all by color. That's what's just disgusting, how they just divide us by color. That's this whole place, it's just so shallow and but the people all play their part. Like all these are regular old people. This isn't Illuminati and shit that are out there, these fucking gangsters working in. uh, all of the title companies, the real estate companies, they're all playing money shenanigans so that they can get rich and that they can find tax shelters and shit. And then taking over all of the housing market. Like they've priced us out. Like most people can't afford to buy the houses and they keep going and building them. And it's just, it's the craziest corrupt bullshit. So this, that has to end. It has to be exposed. But that's what I was talking about. I'm pretty sure I was just talking about this morning before I even saw that video. Is that, and I've said a lot of times, there's a lot of people who are married to people who don't even realize that they're involved in some corrupt shit. And, there's a reason why some people were getting rich and other people weren't. You had to do some shady shit to get rich, but it's all part of your soul's learning. It's all part of your soul's contract. So whatever you've done, it's part of your lessons. And I'll tell you, man, I swear to God, today I feel like I'm struggling. I feel so tense. This energy is so tense. Stella is having such a hard time. For the first time ever, she uh, she was peed all over her whole bed. Like she's never done that before. So then she hasn't since. Like that was earlier this morning. We've already washed everything. We've gone on 3 walks. She has horrible, horrible diarrhea, and she has gone out and peed and stuff. But I'm sure she's got these same aches because I'm having a total GI meltdown too. And so it's got to be environmental. It's got to be some bullshit they sprayed on us. And there's this recent spraying because all this shit is bright orange across a spray. It is so unnatural. And that's the thing that gets to me is when you live like around all zombies that are just like, going through their life, not paying attention, don't want to evaluate, got places to be, that is just they accept so much shit. And then how much shit they accept over here with them building all these houses. Well, it's going to make our house go up. No, it's not. That is not how this system works. Fuck. God, it's so frustrating. Is It's just like so much frustration. But and then the sickness on top of that, and then how the shit just drags out and drags out. And then everything just feels super, super tense. It feels super intense, just like going on TikTok and stuff. It just seems like it's a fucking tornado of emotions. So, I just hope to fucking God that we are close to everything going, to everything. And I think I talked a lot about this morning because see these people and they all are saying the things that they think are going to happen. And I don't know what they're basing it on. I don't know how accurate their stuff is. And that's another thing that trips me out because I hear all these people saying this shit and they're so sure of it. It's like, but what are you basing this on? Because I don't see things the way that a lot of these people do. And the money thing is definitely going to be the best thing ever. We're going to get out of debt and stuff. But I for sure see that as being our biggest thing that has to go. And is probably what's going to set everybody over the edge. But it could be like, they're going to have a bombing at the same time. Like it can be anything go on. They could be right now trying to set off a volcano or earthquake or something just for the distraction when it all goes down. And, there can be a layering of events that are going to occur. But I would say, like I was saying this morning already, is the money thing has to go first because Joe's got to go down. I mean, all you got to do is think of it logically. Like, how are we going to keep a guy in a mask going around being president for that long, especially when everybody already fucking knows? The whole thing is a show. It's a big old charade to get everybody's attention so everybody can see this corruption, so everybody can, let go of this system. They're so dependent on it. They can't imagine life without it. And it is so trippy because it's like it hasn't even been that long, but they say right in their own paperwork, the Rockefeller mission statement or whatever, 4 generations it takes to, change the history, lie to all the stuff that they did, tell us that we're out on a ball spin. Some of this stuff it is just kind of ridiculous, like when you think about it to start thinking like, God, we believed that. Like we literally believed that. Even though there was a lot of us, would question it. We would say, Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense. And why don't we feel upside down? And all of the questions that we would ask, and they would always just come back with, I mean, I don't know, such a robotic kind of teachers and stuff. Like, I wonder how much of some of these professions and stuff they do kind of get MK Ultra. If they get kind of like you go to be the teachers or whatever. So they get all the teachers that are going to be in this school. They're going to have a big luncheon. Now let's invite all the new teachers, and then they serve a certain Kool Aid, and then they sit up there because that is one of the things. Like the CIA does. It's like they use things to open your mind so that they can penetrate it with their mind control shit. And so, how many, like the same with police, especially every day they go down and sit and have a briefing. What's in the coffee? Like, we got all these people who are just like robotic, who are just so like they've lost their own soul, they've lost their own humanity or something. Like, it seems like some of these people are going to have the hardest time waking up. But I swear to God, you watch and see. There is going to be people that you think are, you always thought of they were upstanding in your community. You thought that they were really, a great doctor. I mean, there's so much stuff that just keeps coming out. Like to me, it's like you got to see this coming. Like there's already where they've got these people who are like is real respected citizens, and now it's coming out like they've got all this kitty corno stuff all over the place. They are big suppliers, like all sorts of weird ass shit. Like I just that weirds me out. How many deviant people? Like how do you all get together and talk about all this weirdo shit? Like, I can't imagine going to a dinner party and then start saying, like, you want to know my fetishes? You want to know my weirdo shit? Like, that's my own private weirdo shit. It's not anybody else's business. But they all want to go out and get a whole group of them. They want to, it's a big old party. And then they get all into, uh, you know, being kidnappers and shit like that. So it's quite a scheme they got going. And then plus, the whole vampire in the organs, because this fucking Canada, like, fuck. It's not enough with their maid, that is a goddamn consciousness sucker outer. And now for them to just come straight up and say, well, there's nothing wrong with the organs. We really would like to keep the organs. I swear to God. And the hypocrisy and the disgusting, it is so disgusting. So you tell these people that they can't live, that they're, they got to go, but oh, their body's perfectly healthy. It's sickening. It's so sickening. And then they want to get the people's organs after you've already put them. That is, and that just shows you like the unethical, and fucking Trudeau, man, that guy is just coming out like fucking Oprah and Rock. Like all these people who are just marching onto the stage right now, they're just all coming on the main stage to, show the collapse. Like they're all fallen. I think Trudeau is gonna, he'll go down hard. Like he's just out there. Uh, and he kind of looks like he knows it. Same with Rock. Every time you would see Rock, it looks like Rock knew what was coming. Rock knew he's done for. Yeah, there's no hope for you, dude. And then the footage that keeps going around, Oprah talking about, kids having relations with older people and her opinion about it is warped. And then all his jokes about it's funny, even in an interview, he was talking to some dad and a kid or something. I don't know if it's the interviewer brought his kid to the interview, but then the Rock even says, I eat kids. And then the guy was like, oh no, or something. And he goes, well, how old are you? He said 12. He goes, okay, you got to be less than 10. It's like, oh God, these people, it's not funny. It's not a joke because they really do it. They're really this sickening. They really do all this sick ass shit. And then they go and laugh about it. And then Oh yeah, because Jason Momoa, he's coming out and giving information for people to donate directly to Lahana people who have gotten their stuff stolen. The whole thing is that they need lawyers and they need people who know human rights. That's what they need. They don't need all our money and stuff. They need their community to. They need the government to step off, and they need somebody to go out there and help them push the government off. It's like how they come in and say, this is our, they take over. It is not your land. You can't come in and say it's unsafe or not unsafe. It's not your land. And then to pretend like, oh, their houses are gone, so now the land is theirs, and that we're just going to move them and give them housing over here in our new little weird, I don't know, it looks like a Hawaiian death camp to me. And so they're going to just, put them all in there and then let them all get sick. It's just more just killing them, more killing them. Just, we'll put them behind the fence so nobody's paying attention and we'll just keep killing them. That's what these money hoarders do. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about anybody or anything other than, I don't know, our organs. They want that. They want our organs. They want our energy. They want our organs. And then I guess they want to interfere with our blood. Like, that's interesting. Because they're putting that stuff in kids and stuff. And then that's the same, like, I wonder if they have a certain place they aren't doing any of those, not giving anybody any of those, but it's like their little pond, their little reservoir that they go in and take the kids from so then they can have some clean stuff. Because what would they do if they are using that all the time and it's got all of this, these, bioweapons, uh, all of these biparticles, all of these things that don't belong in it. And then what are they slurping it up? They drink it. Like they just wipe it on their skin. I don't know. They could dry it out and sniff it. They could just take baths in it. Who knows what the hell? But ooh, that's weird. It's like they were poisoning their own supply. That just shows how off they are. These people are so. And what was it? I was just seeing. Oh, because there's all this stuff about Gator coming out, and so his uh Gator is. Oh, can I see it? Okay, let's see. Can you see our messages? Don't worry. The same as Ost. Oh, Kelly, go check trans theology, trasho theology, MR astro theology. I don't know what that says. Mr. Astro theology. Okay, Mr. Astro theology. It all makes sense now. What what is it? After you watched Mr. Astro Theology, everything makes sense? Is that what you're saying? Me 23? Because I don't know. I felt like everything started making sense to me in 2020 when I was to me is when I saw the media and how everybody responded to it and the lies. I keep feeling like I'm looking down here at you or something, but I gotta look up here at the camera, otherwise I'm looking down there. I bet you're not writing anything, so I don't know if you're still there. Oh, greetings, Joyce. And I'm in Washington too. So anyways, whatever I was gonna say. Can't remember. Is there some question or something? Don't worry, it's the same in Austin. Oh, don't worry, it's the same in Austin. One thing too is this morning Stella was doing so bad. Like I can't even believe she's being quiet this long. I swear to God, we've gone on 3 walks. She won't eat anything. Yeah, she is so uncomfortable. And like I said, she had the accident, and then she keeps going outside, and then she's just got horrible diarrhea. She just keeps going and going and going and going, and then all the aches and pains, which I have. So I'm sure she has. I'm sure there's so much similarities in the stuff. So it always gives me confirmation too when she starts having like the same things, because there's no reason for me to get sick. There's no reason other than we're being poisoned. And so to me, uh, seeing that was, what was it? There was a few things, uh, just the lies and stuff, the media, um, and the stuff with Trump. And then once I start saying stuff and I said stuff to people and I saw how brainwashed people were, and then I started seeing they were doing it on purpose. And then, but it feels like my perspective through this has been just kind of different because it's been spirit. I didn't awaken to spirituality. Like I already had like a spiritual perspective coming up into it. Like I already knew the age of Aquarius was coming. I already knew that their cycle would be changing and we were gonna have this big reset and this cataclysm. I already understood about the cycles and and that's why one's so obvious to me. It has to end. It's so corrupt. It's so bad. And it's not just the people who we think are the bad people. So many people came in and played bad people in this reality. I think that is going to be something when everything switches and people get the energy that they've been putting out. So if they've been doing a bunch of crime and shit and hurting people, they're going to have consequences that they're going to feel. That energy is going to come back on them. It's not like it's going to be the exact same thing that will happen. It is going to, it's like their intention of causing harm, not caring or something is going to come back on them. They're going to have a lot of problems and it's going to bring people down for sure. But it is, I don't know. I would think that if somebody is having a lot of problems, I would think that the universe would keep making it clear to you to show you what you need to see in it. But, I don't know how much stuff is shown to people and they ignore it. Because I can't imagine that there is stuff that happens and that it is, that people don't put it all together. Because to me, it seems so clear. Like, I look, see, I just get in this really like it's really messing with my mind. I got like overthinking it or something. Like, how is it that I'm perceiving certain things, and why isn't the other people? Why, what's going on and stuff? It trips me out, and it is I don't know. It's just kind of today. It feels like overwhelming or something. Everything feels like so. It feels weird. It feels like I feel super alone. I feel like Stella's super sick. I feel so stressed out. It feels like there's a lot of tension. Uh, I don't know. Everything just feels weird. It was raining again. And then I went to go look because I was like, well, maybe I should just leave. Maybe I should just go. I didn't know she was having diarrhea. I just thought she was just crying. I was like, oh my gosh. And then when she was going to the bathroom or something, then I was like, oh my gosh, what if this is it? What if this is it? I start panicking like that. And then I was gonna go and just drive. I was like, well, we'll go to town or something and go to somebody's relative, drive to Spokane or something. And because I was supposed to go this weekend anyways, and then go there and visit. And so at least I'm not alone and stressed out while she's being sick. But, then I saw she has diarrhea. That would just be miserable trying to do that. She'd be crying the whole way and then be stuck out on the roads. So, and even if I go the back, the state highways, they're like one lane going each way. You can't just pull off very easy. So, and then when you pull off, you're next to farm fields and stuff. So, I don't know. It's definitely not ideal to take a dog with diarrhea and go on a trip like across the state right now. But then it just sucks. I keep telling myself, okay, you're right where you're supposed to be all the time. You're where you're supposed to be all the time. Whatever you're going through is what you're supposed to go through. I have to remind myself and remind myself because some of the stuff, it just is overwhelming, the whole thing. Um, I'm just going to keep on hoping that this dollar thing hurries up and crashes because that is what has to go first. I just don't see how anything can go until they crash the money because it has to go under Joe. They have to have the money crash under Joe, and then it's going to kind of go out from there. And then there's so much, even what that woman was talking about with the housing market crash, and there's all this manipulation and lies going on with the market and stuff. So they're lying to a bunch of people, and so when all this stuff starts collapsing, see, that's the branches out in corruption where it's going to one thing lead to another. And the housing market, the medical with all of the lobbyists and all of the corruption that is around that, and it's just going to be all of those things. And see, that to me is what's going to go on in 2024. And maybe it's going to be the summer of 2024 when people lose their goddamn minds. Because maybe it is going to be, during the winter when this stuff is going down, it's going to be too damn cold for anybody to go out and, lose their minds. But this is another winter because this is, if they're gonna hit us this hard with the storms and shit, and it's already cold as shit. When I was looking, that's what I was gonna say, because when I started looking about leaving this weekend, and I was looking at the weather, it's fucking cold everywhere. Over in my state, it's cold, and so when it's fucking, it's not even October yet, and then I swear before it would be, usually it would be nice up until Halloween. It would always be like if you could just stretch it to Halloween, but it would always seem like it would be like the week before, where it would just start, the weather would start getting shitty and cold and rainy. Um, but sometimes even Halloween wouldn't be that bad. But right now, it is like, ugh, it's not even October. And so they've got all of these immigrants, which I know they're trying to start a civil war with that business. They got all these people and they got them coming in all over the place. They got them coming in on trains, um, planes probably too, boats, and walking. They're just coming in all over. And I know they're trying to start a civil war with that. They want to get people so pissed off. And they keep giving the immigrant people and migrants, they keep giving them stuff and then taking things away from the people. But they still, nevertheless, have all these people are going to be on the streets. All the streets in the inner cities are all just full of homeless people and all these migrants, because they were keeping the migrants in the hotels, but now the hotels got overrun. And then that New York lady, she wanted to build a whole fucking camp, but the camp is about something else too. It's all these camps are about something else. And I guess they want to get us in those because then they got control, because then it's like jail. I mean, you can't get out the gates. And so don't go in those no matter what. And they're trying to set it up so in a disaster so they can herd us into one of those. Don't go into them. Because you just got to think that's just walking into a jail. All of a sudden now they're in charge. And that has been in so many shows. What was the one? Is a British show. And it seems like it was about the end of the world or something. And it had transhumanism in it. It had political bullshit in it. And it had the transhumanism stuff was creepy as fuck. But it had let's see, the end, because it was something I was just saying that they were showing about in that show, but I can't think of what it was called. And I can't think of what it was I was talking about that was in it. But it showed a bunch of stuff in that show. Uh, what was that? Because I wanted to say about, uh, it showed about the merging and the whole thing of getting the kids to want to do it. So getting the kids to want to have a computer inside them, to be able to scan their hand and get what they want. As that's their easy access to your mind, is they can just override it. I mean, they're doing that already. That's in the CIA things too, is that they are already talking in people's heads and get people to think that it's their thoughts. So it's not just like the dark energy and shit like what I was saying. It's also you have a CIA out there talking, and there's more stuff about the G towers, which I talked about too this morning, and that is something about the Grays experience, something about that. I know it had Grays in it, and it's in the CIA files, and it has to do with the frequency and using it in order to access into our minds to control them and stuff. So that is what all those things are about. But all that stuff, see, everything that has got to come out has got to come out with the collapse of the government. And the first thing that has to go is the money, because the money is what makes everything go round. And so once that goes, it's going to be just like everything will start going. So I think the money has got to go first, and it's got to be coming soon, because all this other stuff has got to go down. They've got to start having to go down. And then if they do want to keep it where we're more kind of stuck in our homes in the winter, so we're not out there rioting and, revenge seeking, that it would make sense that they would do it in the winter. But then we also have all of these people in the streets, and if they hit us hard with another winter like that, there's going to be a lot of death. And if they are trying to kind of evacuate people and move them here, because I wonder too in Africa, because there was a whole bunch of movement where they were moving the people to different places. I can't remember the places now, but it was like whole entire places, and they were moving them. And I was thinking, oh, this is part of the evacuate. This is a part of moving people into safe zones or something. And now it's all that big giant split. So I wonder how many were around that area if it wasn't completely desolate, if they did move people, and if that is kind of what's going on. Because there is some people who don't want to kill us. They do want to help us and help us to get to survive. Like, I mean, that's a big thing for humanity, is to go on through this. And so, there's people who are out there helping that movement. Not everybody is out to just kill us, but the people who are out to try and help us are definitely have to fight the people who want to kill us. And the people who want to kill us have got all the goddamn power and all the money. Well, they did, but, it's like they outsmarted them because they went in and they put these different judges in, because now you got judges that are really being on our side just on all these lawsuits that what was it? Because I've already talked about it this morning too. These class action lawsuits, there's a bunch of those going on. And I was going to be a part of seeing all of the corruption and stuff and all of these. I bet there's going to be so many lawsuits. That's what it's going to take down a ton of the corporations and stuff. They're going to go bankrupt because of all the lawsuits. They're not going to be able to pay out all the money that they're going to owe all the people. But it was already all set up for them to collapse, because to get rid of, to collapse the corporation or to bankrupt it, take the money, to go and take all of the money from the Vatican, all the money from the emperors, all of that money and get it. And then plus the whole thing with the BRICS nation. I mean, they're already signing on to the peace treaties. They're already getting all of their gold. So all of that stuff is going, and they're pushing for that to start going here, because everything, once it goes like global, everything is going to go so much better, so much more peace. I mean, just this whole thing of this constant, we're going to go to war, we're going to go to war, and all that shit. So whatever is going to go down, if they're going to play this out like a war thing in order to get it, whatever it is, the whole thing is to collapse the economy, blame it on Joe, and then have everything go down and show the corruption. And that it will show people that we have to change the government. We have to change. People have to be involved. You have to be a part of your community. Like all these things are going to be what people are going to learn through that part. So we got to go through that part, because this is like the next step in the development to get people ready for the new age. So we have to go through that part. So we have to have all this shit ripped away, because people would do things that weren't good for them. So we have to have all this shit ripped away. The ripping away shows all of the corruption and how much darkness that people held on to try and be a participant in this reality. And so they have got all this healing that has to occur. Then all the people who were tricked, all the people who are angry, all of the corruption and all the stuff, there's got to be all of the healing due to all that, there's going to be families that are going to be fractured, more families than just how many are splitting up. There's going to be all sorts of fractured family units because of crimes too. It's just like there's, I mean, and stress and murder, like there's so much. But all of that stuff has got to fall away. All of the darkness has got to fall away. And then, well, when the healing and all that stuff, that's when everything is going to start going better. But it's going to go better for a lot of people here soon. Just there's, I just know there's going to be a group of people who have been working on themselves, have um, they're going to seem to just come out of nowhere, and they're going to have a huge impact on moving the society through this painful time and heading us in a better direction. So there's a, like, it's going to get better. There will be things like if you're watching, you got to watch the right things though. And you got to watch out who you listen to and stuff. And you got to remember when certain people are saying things, they're talking about the old system. They're talking about how the system ran, how things were, how things are. But they don't know that all of that stuff is going. And most of them don't know that this is a spiritual occurrence. Like there's nothing changing this. This is set in stone. This is a changing of the ages. This is a reset on humanity. So this is going to happen no matter what. There's no stopping it. And this, in the thing of flipping, the fortune goes back to the people. It is the meek own the earth. The living and dead walk on the earth. Heaven becomes earth becomes heaven. It's like the whole thing. That is what we're headed to as a part of the new age, the new experience. So let me see. Hey girl. Hey you. Is Hi, you're live. That's great. Yeah, I did. Because the other one finished downloading, but then I don't know. A lot of people have problems even after it's downloaded to get it to download on their thing because it's messed with. So I had said, well, I'll go live and I'll kind of talk about some of the same stuff so that people who need to see it live can see it live. But then the other one went on because yesterday I was going to do that. And then it took all day for the other one, so I had to wait for that one to finish downloading. And then Stella is just, man, she's wagging me like I'm being wagged by her, that's for sure. She's having a bad day. And it always sucks because it's like I'll be having a bad day. Like I feel like shit. And then she feels like shit and her shit always overrides my shit. So let me see. I can see some of this. Like I can see better than I thought I could. America is because we are the biggest country. Let's see, we are, yeah, that's what I think too, is America, Canada, Australia, like those one, because in some of these other ones that are smaller countries, I mean, they've got, complete, what is that called? Revolutions going. Ours is just so big, it's a lot harder to even get everybody on board. And plus our country, like I don't know because I don't live in Australia or UK or in England or in Canada. So I don't know. But here it was like created to be fake and phony. Everything, it was meant to be fake and phony, to have nothing, no foundation or something. And so the people, all the people are just willing to accept whatever, and nobody comes together. People just stay divided. It's just, that's why it's the people who have to change, and it's the people who keep committing all the crimes. Like I can't fuck. God, when you hear the real estate crimes and shit, it's just aggravating. And last week when I had heard about all these Airbnbs that are about to crash, and then when I heard what they were saying, and it was this whole shady way that they set up these loans. It was a lot of the people who even were getting the loans. There was just so much shadiness, and it's always about taking affordable housing from us, and then them all having control and doing what they want and jacking up prices. And then there's weird shit that they're doing. like pretend like having houses sit empty and call them sold even though they aren't, and it's all like shady shit on their paperwork and stuff. So there's just so much shadiness that they do so that they, they drive us out of being able to live. um let's see, gives me a daily report. The light has one. That's the thing. Is that this is all just at playing out, but it's just like so draining to keep getting sick. And I don't even. Well, I think that we all are fighting cancers and stuff. It's the same thing. We're all fighting the parasites and the toxins, and that's what creates the cancers. And I think depending on your immune system, but all of us are all worn out. We're all of our bodies are fighting incredibly toxic environment, and it's rough. Fuck, it's fucking rough. Yeah, see, the meek shall inherit the earth. That's what we're going into. Our time. We're the meek. We get our time. Our time is coming. There was nothing wrong with being meek, and some people couldn't handle it, and they had to go evil. Um, and yeah, I feel like crap. It is I feel certain it's the toxins and the chemicals and shit, especially when Stella starts having the same issues as I'm having. Because what is the chances of that? It's got to be the chemicals and shit that they're spraying, especially when I just all of a sudden where they started having this orange splatter on all this shit. Oh, and knowing, yeah, like how Roundup goes, and so is it working its way up through the tree to go down to the roots to because I've thought that they were setting up a flood or a mud flood or a fire or something the whole time because they've been killing these trees. So, fuck, for a couple of years now. But it's so crazy out there because of the rain, of this weird rain all of a sudden, which is got to have chemicals in it. And then there's all these pine needles falling. It's like heavy too. The rain feels, it sounds heavy. Like there's it's just weird. And there's weird wind. And I don't know. It is uh, uh, it's just aggravating to, I mean, I know that some people, they think like, well, they've got the flu or the sickness or whatever. And so that's how they approach it. But to me, when I'm approaching it, is like I'm being poisoned all the time. And I could go from feeling good to feeling like shit so quick. It's like, oh my God, it's so aggravating. And so where people say like, well, they're not poisoning us anymore. They're not spraying the air. I think that can't be true. I think they got to be spraying us. So, right? Can you imagine the food gets better and I should get my glasses. I can see better. Poison in the skies. Yeah, that's for fucking sure. That's what I keep feeling like is when it isn't, when they're not, when we're not being poisoned all the time in the food and the water and all of this stuff. And it's all, wherever we are. Like whatever's going on here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going on in Alabama. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going on New Hampshire or Chicago. Like they have all these different places that they have different experiments going, like they're trying different things on all of us. And I think that is all a part of it too. But that's where I'm like, there's no fucking way. The fourth, they're going to warn us all. They're going to warn us so that everybody can do the research and get all ready so everybody can freak out and think that we're all going to die on the fourth. They could kill us right now. They don't need to give us a date and time. They could just turn on their shit and we would all be wiped out if that was going to be like that. Hold on. Yes, lady. Oh, she's so uncomfortable. Oh, I forgot to shut the door. It's so cold. It's just cold and it is weird to come back and sit anytime when all of a sudden I'll think it's live. Yeah, sometimes I'll just start talking and I won't. realize, like, oh my gosh, it's live. But I don't know if there's even anybody. I don't think anybody. Oh, maybe there is some people on here. But anyways, uh, to me, all of this stuff, the first thing that's got to go has got to be the money. We've got to be close because of all of there's so much being pushed on us right now that all this other shit is like right on the edge of the collapse. So they got to have the money and go. Like, I swear to God, I would think it has got to go this weekend. I can't believe how they've drug it out this far. So to me, it would seem like it's got to go. It's got to go any second. And then once it goes, the freakouts will begin because people, but then when you realize like how they inflated the prices, and so it is like the housing market will collapse, and it's a kind of like, if you think of like a balloon and what it was, and then they kept blowing up and blowing up, blowing up, and inflating, 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 and then we couldn't keep up or whatever. And then when this all happens and it collapses, it's like all that inflation, all that air is going to come out of the balloon. And it's going to go back to like a stretched out kind of, that is the prices. We'll go back to those prices. All of that they inflated was all inflation. So that's why it's going to go back to prices like in the 60s or something, because they've been doing it for so long, playing these shenanigans and these games to keep us broke while the most corrupt people get the money. And so it's supposed to go down to like 6,000 for a house. And so today, what I did, because I did get my Social Security, it did go deposit in. And so I went and bought a shit ton more silver. I think, everybody should be doing that. Like, you should be thinking about your future, and then even that lady was saying, they're out to take a bunch of houses away. I mean, you got to remember their motto is you'll have nothing, you'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. So they intend to take all of our houses away, however they do it. They intend to make us all homeless. And so, and that is another reason why I'm not going to sit here and pay them well, I mean, we're at war with these people. And I'm not going to, play their games. And so you want to take this, I don't know how it's going to end up, but I'm not going to sit here and pay them while it's going on. So, so I bought more silver, and I feel like, oh God, I feel like I will be fine. Like, well, the silver is going to go up so much. When you go on right now, you go on to like Money Metals or there's a bunch of different ones, but I bought a bunch of times from Money Metals, and make sure you buy it where they send it to you. Don't have any of these where they store it for you. Don't do that, because then you're back in that same situation of getting oversold where they keep selling the same piece and you don't know how corrupt some of these places are. So you want your silver to come to you. And the other one, JM Bullion, I think, is another one. And I think Charlie Ward has one. There's some other of these financial people that have places they recommend. So, anyways, if you go on and you look, though, it's like gold for an ounce right now is like 1,600. Maybe it was 1,900. It seemed like it was like 1,600. It had platinum. It had, I think it had copper and silver. And silver was the cheapest. Silver was dirt cheap, and they're keeping it that way so that people can figure this shit out. Because if you go and get silver and you're buying it at like, it says it's 23.23 or something like that per ounce. But then when you go on, like I always get like silver bars, and then it's like $27 per ounce. And so then when you get them. So whatever it is, like it's $23 right now. So as soon as this collapses, because that is the big thing they've been repressing is silver, that they use it. It's like you just have to go in, as I can't explain it right. Yeah, I can go and listen to these people and understand what they're saying, but they held the cost of it so that there was something about their money and about, it's all this, it's just all shenanigans. It's all bullshit. But so they were repressing silver. So they were holding the value back so that they could beef up their value, but it was all phony. So when the dollar crashes, the silver is going to jump way up. It's supposed to go where it's going to jump to 600 to 1,000 per ounce. And so that will be a huge jump. But then as things proceed and we start going more into the technology and the patents, there is a bunch of new technology that's going to be made with silver thread. So it's thread that's actually made out of silver, and they're expecting silver then to go up to like $10,000, and it's going to be very valuable. And so I don't know, everything is a gamble, but this one, seems like a safe gamble to me. So to me, it seems like definitely get silver. I would be getting silver before I pay my credit cards or any of that shit, because that's all going down. You're not protecting your credit score anymore. You may as well start standing up for yourself. And a big thing to me is when I quit paying the credit cards and stuff, I just ignored them. I tried doing that with the house thing too, just ignoring them. But they're trying to make bigger moves because, I have the house, but there's so much shady shit about the housing market. Just the whole thing about how they go and take the money out of your trust and then they start trying to make you pay it back. And we all have these trusts that have all of this money that is, what they've traded on us. So, and supposedly that value is supposed to be going to us, but like, I don't know, uh, because it's kind of reminds me of the same thing with the ponies. And so, some people are going to have like 20 to 1, 50 to 1, like all our values are going to be kind of based on like, like I could be a real wild shot or whatever it is because of how many times they've tried to kill me and I just keep on coming back. So I could just be a real wild card to them. So that could increase my value, or it could decrease it, or it could put a fucking, what is that, a number on my head or something? I don't know. But it seems like there's going to be some other way of figuring out about reparations than just like your birth certificate and how much they've traded on you, because there's going to be an equality that goes to all the different people. Is like all people are created equal. We're all equal. There's nothing where you're going to have, even though they were trading and having it be more like that, but that was their games and stuff. But it should go more to an equality. But I also don't know how it's all going to play out, because there is going to be this whole part where these people are going to freak out when their value of the stuff that they have. I think the biggest things will be retirement and land and people's homes. So the things that they have put into for their future. And when that collapses, they're going to be so frustrated. They're going to be so upset. Just like, what is the point of life? And that is going to be their come to Jesus. They lose everything, but they don't realize that they really lost nothing. They lost as being a slave to debt. And so once that goes, then they're going to, you're going to get your house for free. You're going to, all the resources are going to be free. They're not going to charge us for water. The power is going to change. We're not going to have this fucking creepy ass electricity. We're going to have free energy by just tapping into the magnetic pull. It's like the magnetism of the planet. Like I'm always talking about, there's all this energy out there. There's all the energy out there. So it's more of tapping into that. And that is, I mean, you can see, like, you go out on the roads and stuff, you can feel it's like portals, it's like energetic streams that you go into. So, there's going to be, but the silver thing is going to go way up. That to me seems like a really safe. I mean, if you can afford gold and silver, or gold and platinum and copper and shit, but I don't know how much that's just going to go up. It seems like it's already pretty expensive. So I don't know if how the value of that will go up, but supposedly all of the solid things that you have, like things that you can hold that have value, like gold, silver, platinum, all of those things, that all of those will all start having more value because that's what you have to have. You have to have something real. There's not going to be any more of like, because what we've been trading around is like IOUs. It has just been like these pieces of paper, but then they gave us places to shop with them, kind of like green points or whatever that was, you know. But then they're limiting more and more of what we can spend it on and how we can spend it because it's all under their control. But we can abandon that system. That system is a new system. Their monetary thing, that's not how it always was. Is it had different monetary systems throughout time. But I think usually it was always based on real coins, gold and silver. But now, they wanted to hoard all that and then make us all trade around paper. And then they sit around laughing. But we're going to be the ones laughing because they're the ones who are so corrupt and they're going to get what's coming to them. They think it's all fun and games, but they're going to all get what's coming to them. And that's how I see, like, too, with The Rock, especially when you see Jason Momoa out there and he seems like, because I think of them both being kind of islanders and they got to have some kind of tribal connection to the different island tribes, And I don't know what each of their connections are, but to me, Jason Momoa seems a lot more sincere than The Rock. And but The Rock coming out with Oprah, like, that was a quite obvious move, if you ask me. So, and then plus, if they really are finding those kids and stuff, like, boy, see how everything is coming to a head, and all this stuff on Russell Brand, like, book. Um, because it seems like, that they're totally attacking him because of all of him being so outspoken. And then they get these girls that say such detailed things. And he really was on drugs and he really was like maybe, and then they even have texts where it seems like he knew what he was doing. So I don't know. But everything that you've done, even if it's good to change, because changing is like that. It is like a penance or something. It's like changing the energy. It's like uh, uh, what is that? It's not the right word. Retribution or something. It's like uh, you get an opportunity, to do better. And so, you should definitely take the opportunity to do better. Like if he really did do a bunch of really bad stuff and then he just wanted to pretend like he didn't and just try and do better, you should still do that. But, you're still going to be held for your crimes because whatever energy, but people have also got to appreciate that, because not being held for your crimes is, I think, is worse. You need to have that kind of payback kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's worse when you don't take your consequences, when you run from your consequences. So you should just take your consequences. And so I don't know. There's going to be so many people who are going to be going down. Like, and who knows? Maybe he was asked to start, telling a bunch of stuff because of his crimes, and they were letting him off. Look, I say everything is so twisted. Everything is so. You just don't know. You can't tell who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Well, some people, like, you can definitely tell Joe's the bad guy. Like, if you can't tell Joe and Nan, all those people are definitely the bad guy. But when it starts coming to the celebrities and stuff, some of them it's obvious, like Oprah, but it's just because there's been so much that's come out on her and The Rock. So much has come out on him. But Russell Brand, like, I don't know. Like, I would have thought he was a good guy. And then they start seeing all of that, the charges and what they say and how the details and stuff. Then it's like, look, man, that's pretty bad if he did do all of that stuff. And the way they all say, like, he turns into like a demon or something. His eyes go black. He stops he stops seeming like he even sees you, or like, and when it starts saying stuff like that, then it's weird. But then also all that, those guys that came out against Michael Jackson, supposedly that was all fake. So look, it's just, everybody, like, we're all in our own fights, we're all in our own battles, and it all has so much more to do with our soul and stuff. I think it's pretty funny though how many of these guys now are all kind of obsessed with the Roman Empire, and they're all like, "Well, this is so similar. What's going on?" It's like full circle. It is like all their souls were there, and now they're here. It's like this full circle. Whatever part they were playing, whatever they needed to finish, whatever, But now they're all here because it's so trippy how they all have this same kind of thoughts, these same kind of motivation, these same kind of and I was thinking, I wonder how many, because I know that there was tons of women who started relating to like the witches and all of that stuff. I wonder how many different uh, time periods, different ages, if everybody started talking about it, like the different ones that they're obsessed with, or the different ones that they feel attached to and stuff. And then, like, I wonder if all those guys that are all thinking about the Roman Empire and stuff, if they had like a chat group, if they all started visiting and chatting, if they would start having like some sort of soul recognition when they would see each other and remember each other from these other times, these other lives. That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting way for things to start playing out, because things are going to start playing out in like a magical, spiritual way. I don't know. I was fascinated how many people keep asking their husbands and boyfriends about the Roman Empire and how many of these guys all are all into it. I swear, I don't think I ever think about the Roman Empire, but I'm definitely think about like Egypt and Atlantis and all that kind of stuff. Like I definitely feel a huge draw to that. And then also some period of time with a lot with tribes, but there's been so much throughout history of humans on this planet that has had to do with tribes. So even if you feel like a huge pull on the tribes like me, I mean, it could be from anywhere, all the different things. But I think there was so much abuse to the tribes by the other people for a long time. They were always trying to bully the common folk, the meek. They think as the meek is weak or something. But I swear to God, they are trying to start that fucking civil war, and then they're gonna try and call in the UN as soon as and they're gonna set it up. They'll do their own. They don't need us to do anything. Even that one old guy that I saw out there was tearing down all those people's stuff. He could be a total plant. He could be a total instigator. He could be totally mind controlled. He could be from fucking AA, and then there's just no telling. There's no telling. They get access to certain people. They get access, and then they get access to people's minds through things. So there's a lot of people who go out and do things, and then they have no idea why they're doing them. And some voice in their head was telling them to do it, so they just were doing it. It is weird. That weirds me out too. That like people can't control their impulses. This was another weird one too. Hold on. As I saw this mom yesterday, and she was her daughter. See, they were like out at the river or the lake, and they were on one side, and across the other side it was more higher, and there was some people like up on the edge, and there was a woman. It didn't look like she was that close to the edge, but the little girl started saying, "Oh, look how close she is to the edge. She's gonna fall over." And then the mom starts saying, "Oh, we don't talk like that. That's intrusive thoughts. You don't talk like that. That's not okay. You don't talk about that." And the little girl's like, "Why? What are you talking about?" And see, for one thing, I can't believe how many times I see people shaming kids. Like, like I'm with that girl. Like, why? Why is that not okay to say that lady's gonna fall off the edge? And I didn't see that as even being an intrusive thought. The intrusive thought would be like, I'm going to go push that woman off because she's on the edge and she deserves it anyways. And she shouldn't have been so close to the edge. That is the kind of stuff where, you follow your impulses, you listen to those voices in your head that don't make any sense, but they may make sense to you when they're saying this stuff. But it's the following through with the impulses. It's going and doing this stuff that is will hurt somebody and it's still doing it anyways. And that is where the problem. But to sit there and tell your kid like it's intrusive thoughts, to notice that somebody could fall off the edge. And I just don't think that we should be, you know, telling kids like uh, if they're having intrusive thoughts, then they need to like understand the thought. Don't try and hide from them. Don't disregard them. Don't tell them something's wrong with them. Don't tell them like something's wrong with you. You're having intrusive thoughts. Keep them to yourself. We don't want to hear about them. That does not seem like I see a lot of parents that to me make big mistakes like that. Like you need to talk to your kid like they have a soul and a spirit, and that they're trying to understand their environment. They're trying to understand who they are, and we shouldn't be so much telling them some things. And I don't know. We sure the hell shouldn't be telling them that they're not allowed to say something. And I would think you'd want to hear your kid if they're having intrusive thoughts. But intrusive thoughts aren't just awareness. Intrusive thoughts are taking an action that will hurt somebody, or being like mean to somebody, you know what I mean? Hey. Oh, hey, Vortex. I just saw. How are you? I keep wondering about how you're doing, but um, and I swear, I want to. There's such a part of me that wants to just like take off and move and go over to that like area over there on the other side of the Mississippi or whatever. I wanted to go down to Alabama for a long time. But then it's like, oh man, do I just go off and go away from the grandkids while they're so small, or do I stay over here? Like, man, I wish things would start like shaking loose, like start giving us more guidance over where we need to be and shit. So aggravating. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because that's funny. Um, yeah, I think it does hurt. I think it hurts a lot. I think this place is hard. This is a hard life. This is man, you got to have tough skin to not feel all of the pain and all of the suffering that everybody's going through. And then plus just on my own, I just feel so weird all the time. I feel so fucking weird. Um, Doing good, but been a little heavy, but it's, yeah, it is. It is a weird energy. Oh, well, you're welcome. Oh, yeah, and see, there was somebody else who was saying you can come over by New Hampshire, and I've wanted to go over by Lilydale for a long time and go see that place. Like, there's so many places that I want to go out and see and experience. I don't want to just be like go get one little place and just stay like right by the grandkids and go into that kind of grandma life. I want to be able to go and see them, but I want to just go and become like babysitter and stuff. But I know everything's gonna be switching. Like people are not gonna have the same kind of lifestyles. Lifestyles are gonna be changing. Um, it's nice here, but it was so hot during the summer. Yeah, already here the weather's already so sucky. It's not. It's just cold, and it's just making me think like, oh my God, they are gonna be hitting us with winter storms in no time. It's so cold, and and then all the homeless people and stuff. But I want to go out and start. I always wanted to go down and see Alabama. I wanted to see. There's so many places over there I want to see. I've always wanted to see Kentucky. I've always wanted to see Tennessee, the Carolinas. Oh, you know what else too? is weird on that whole thing with the Carolinas because I think they're still trying to say that the plane's missing. And but then I've also heard that they found it in Cuba. But then I also heard that this old farmer that it was flying over his house, he saw them jump out and then he saw the plane crash. That the plane crashed and never did go anywhere. That was all lies. It's just like, God damn, the lies. It's just as ridiculous lies too. Like, why do they even fucking? Oh, you have a new granddaughter on the way between now and Monday. Oh my gosh, that is gonna be that's exciting. So it's supposed to be this weekend. This weekend is I don't know why this weekend seems so intense. Just because there's been so much hype and buildup on the 22, 23. But I don't know, we've gone through so many dates where they're always saying, you know, this portal, that portal, this star alignment, that star alignment. This one supposedly, what is about to line up has been the same alignment that is every time that there's been a financial crash, that this is the alignment that has been in. And that's supposed to be this weekend. So I'm just hoping that is that will start, everything will go so much different. Is this one going to be, because didn't your daughter move to Chicago? So wasn't it Chicago? So would that mean like you'd have to go up there to visit or is it your son? No, your son is younger. So it would have to be your daughter. You know, is this her first baby? Or is this your first grandchild? I don't even know how many kids you have. I know you have a daughter and a son. And you work on Mars and you have an ex-husband. I know those things. Um, anyways, way between now and Monday. We'll just sit here and have a little chit chat. um, but I swear to God, I just really hope that this is the weekend that the fucking thing crashes. It's my oldest son's child. So you have an older son too. And he has one daughter. So you have a grandchild that is 6. That was born on your birthday. That's cool. And this is the second on the way. My daughter is in Boston and they're flying to Mexico this weekend. Oh my God. They're going to fly to Mexico this weekend. That's the thing. It's like all these people just keep going around just like living like life's normal. It's like, God, it's like keeps me on the edge of my seat. Ugh. My daughter's always going off and just acting like life's normal. And my other daughter, my oldest daughter, I think she's going to a concert this weekend. And then next month, I'm supposed to be going to babysitting because she's going to a concert then. It's like, fuck, you guys. But, you know, I guess they've all got to be out living their lives. I don't know what their experience is supposed to be. Like to just go out and just like live like bug. Especially going to Mexico right now. Oh my God. That would be intense. Uh, who knows? Like, I swear to God, everything is just got to be like, wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. That's where we're supposed to be. That's where they're supposed to be. And, you know, it's a lot when your kids are out doing stuff and it's like, oh my God, you know, the world's about to blow up. I want you to stay safe. It's like, oh my gosh, yes. Like that, it would be stressful. I'm glad that I mean, this weekend is the memorial, so they all have the memorial, and I wasn't going to that because my other daughter that's not speaking to me was going, and she is in town. It's like I'd have to be driving 6.5 hours, and I just spent time with the mom, and so it makes more sense for my daughter to go. But then after but the whole thing, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, am I refusing to go someplace? And I'm going to be here. It's going to be horrible and shit's going to go down. And I'm going to be all by myself. And then Stella start getting sick. And it's like, oh my God, do I just leave? Where? What do I do? Where do I go? I feel like a fucking wreck. And I feel like Part of that is even the energy. Uh, her, oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Is that, and see that energy, like, you just got to see how it goes and just hope that whatever, if they run into problems or lessons that they're not too horrible. Because there's lots of people who are going like to go get on their planes and shit, and then it's getting canceled. They're not giving them new flights. They're just leaving them at the airport. There's people who are getting their whole like that have other legs to their trips, and they're getting all fucked. Like all of the people who are out trying to travel, like all sorts of things are going down. So, that could also, they may not even make it to Mexico. But even if they make it to Mexico, then there's shit going down in all these different resorts and stuff. Like it's so crazy. All the people are just keep going out and just living just like life is just regular. Like what is their perspective like? What does it feel like to them? 'Cause to me, nothing feels regular. Everything looks weird. I feel weird. I know that the world is all falling apart. I know the money's about to crash. I know everybody's about to lose their jobs. I know people are about to get fucking irate and go on murder sprees and shit. Like it's gonna go crazy. They work really hard and they're good kids. I'm happy at home taking leaves and cutting my grass. That's what I did all day. Oh, I don't even know what I do all day. Sometimes I crochet, sometimes I cook a bunch of stuff, sometimes I watch a movie, sometimes I go out in the yard and do something. It just keeps seeming like I'm just kind of just going around. And then plus I feel, and I saw some too, about where they are releasing some sort of gases or something, or I kept saying it's like they just knock us out. It's like I cannot stay awake no matter what I would try. It's just like you're knocked out. And then sometimes I'll go outside and it smells like a dentist's office or something. But now there's more stuff coming out about that. Like I don't even know what I see so much of this different stuff. If it's different lawsuits because they got busted doing it, or if it just keeps being more and more stuff. Just keeps coming out and coming out. Um, but yeah, even if I don't know. I know so many people think, like or they work so hard and they just want to go out and enjoy their lives. And but that's where I feel like our priorities, everybody's priorities got to change. So you start seeing it as like living your life as a vacation. Like the whole thing needs to switch. You need to live your life like a vacation. And then, and it's kind of like even not needing as much stuff because there is definitely a thing where people do get super bougie. I've even noticed just like people where they live, like, oh, well, they live in New York City. They're so super cool. Big fucking deal if you have to pay $5,000 a month for a closet. That, they're super cool because they live in New York City. Same with Seattle, a lot of these bigger cities and people just crowd into them and stuff, and then they get all in their ego, and then they work hard. It's like a whole lifestyle. It's a whole mentality. But that is the big one. That's a big one. That releasing that city life, and to get down more to basics over what really makes you happy. How do you want to spend your time? How do you want to spend your life? Because people have got to get into that mindset of living the vacation and then the work, it just has got to switch. Like your vacation time should be how you live your life. And then the working part, when you're just working to take care of yourself, there isn't as much work that needs to be done. It's like seasonal, it's like different. And then plus we're going to move into like a way more higher high tech way of taking care of ourselves. Like even though right now we got to learn how to grow food and be more independent, I don't think it's going to stay like that. I think it's going to go more to like the Jetsons where we just take a pill or something. I really don't think it's going to be us growing food and stuff. I think we're going to go so much more into a time of just traveling, spending time with people, going and doing things. There will be jobs and stuff. There will be communities. There will be places that, like we will have like an infrastructure, agriculture, and import, or no, because we want to get away from importing. But I think a lot of people are going to get more back to your own resources. Like everybody had their own resources, all the different countries and stuff, but they wanted to come in and control it. So then they made us start getting stuff from over there so that they could just control it all. Hi, Mo Love. My daughter was funny. She wanted to stay at uh, at a place where there was a air conditioner, and he wouldn't do that. He had to stay at one of those enclosed venues. Oh, like a resort. Like he wanted to stay at a resort. It is really fun though when you do go stay in like the little villages. Oh, an air conditioned yurt. Yeah, like when you go to the little villages, I think that is way more of the cool experience too. The resorts, I've been to resorts in Mexico. They're fun, especially if you go to the all inclusive ones and stuff. They're fun. It's not the same as just going to like the villages in Mexico and then going around to like their little stores and stuff. So hopefully your daughter will get to go around and see some of the stuff. They'll probably, if he's all bougie like that, he'll probably want to go do some of the um, like, what part of Mexico are they going to? There's usually all sorts of itinerary, like the outings. Like there, when I've been, we even went and saw the pyramids and stuff. And then when you go, you have a long bus drive, and they usually stop in the villages, and you eat and go shopping. So if they do some of those outings and stuff, she should be able to go out and see some of that stuff. But the resorts are always nice. They're just, it's not like the same as but even the food, it's not like you're going to get a whole bunch of Mexican food even, because at the resorts, they have like Italian, they have all different kinds of food at all of the, whatever those things are called, the timeshare, no, not timeshare, all inclusive resorts. Because there's a lot of those kinds of there, the all-inclusive ones, because but those ones are also, I think, would be good to go to right now, because you're going too much out into these little cities and stuff. There's no telling what crimes are going on there. Like, I'm sure there's got to be some crazy stuff going on. Like, where are all these people coming from? Are they all passing through there? Like, it's just so weird. Like, surely you've seen like the footage of like the trains where they've got all these people, and I don't know, are they standing in the trains, or are they all sitting on top of the trains? But then on the boats, they've got boats that are full, that are all going down, and they've got like people rowing and taking them, and then you have tons of people walking. I swear, I really like to know, where in the hell are all these people coming from? I just can't imagine all these different people are leaving everything they have, their homes, everything that they have, and they're just taking off. And then we keep getting told, because they're seeking asylum from all the criminal shit that goes on in their own countries. And there was a guy who stopped some guy in New York, and he was asking him something. He was saying something about, "You're from Venezuela, right?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I've been here for 5 years or something." And he said, "What do you think about all these immigrants and stuff coming?" And he said that this is bad. And he said that the people that they are bringing are super bad criminals in Venezuela. They let them out of the jails to come here. He said, when shit starts going down, it's going to be bad. These people all work for like the cartel and stuff. So fuck, I'd get out of the inner cities. I bet you there's already so much shit. I bet there's already people going missing all the time. I bet there's so much stuff that we're not hearing about, because those people are there just to destroy. It's like take everything down, destroy everybody, destroy, and murder. They're there to fucking murder for sure. Oh, Cabo, I like Cabo. And something or another, they do all that stuff. too. They both traveled quite a bit. Last week she went to Spain. Ooh, I went to Spain and Portugal. I love Portugal and Spain. One thing I keep seeing here constantly, I keep thinking, man, maybe I should just go back to Costa Rica. Just go back and take Stella and we'll go live on the beach in Costa Rica. That's one thing too in Costa Rica where the dogs just run free. They just dogs run around, dogs can be on the beach. And you can go there and live like on a beach, but then probably need to look at the map, the doomsday map, and see is it even gonna be there? But man, and it doesn't feel like there's anywhere that you can just really go that's safe. You can just go like, well, if I go there, it'll for sure be safe. It just doesn't feel like that. Feels like everything is going to be chaos and everything is going to be dangerous and wild until there's just like like when everything just like is like an exhaustion or something, an exhaustion like a collective exhaustion will happen, and that is when things I think will start turning and be more peaceful. But fuck, it feels like so crazy right now. Yeah, it's so much in there, and they are creating so much of the chaos, you know? They are doing it. They are creating it, just like that thing on the 4th. Because I feel like that they are just trying to get it set up so people stress out. So people keep thinking they're going to kill us, they're going to kill us. And people are going to, who knows what people are going to do. To me, I mean, it just makes sense. Just turn off the breaker and turn off the phone. But even Snowden said that even if you turn off your phone, it's never really off. They can still access it. And even if this blast, or if they are going to blast some high frequency, it'll go through the fucking smart meters. They've been out here busily getting them on everybody's houses. So, but I would imagine that if they do a blast on us or something, like a lot of people get sick, get nauseous, get headaches. I'm sure people will feel like there's somebody talking in their head. They'll feel disconnected. There'd be a lot of all sorts of symptoms. It would kind of be based on different people's conscious, like their different consciousness, because that's what I think is how it kind of is about our perspective and stuff and how we perceive things. I think it has something to do with kind of like our states of consciousness, and this conscious state in this 3D is such a trap. It has people's minds so trapped. So I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm hungry too. I keep being hungry. Yesterday I made some cookies. They were really good too. I made them like chocolate because they're kind of like brownie cookies or something. But I had mint chocolate chip. They're not chocolate chips. They're just mint chips. They're for making cookies. So it's like the same thing. Only they're not chocolate chips. They're mint. And oh my gosh, they're so good. I'm like, I love mint. I love caramel and I love mint. So, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get more of those mint chips and make more of those cookies, but I keep eating them and eating them. I ate a shit ton of them yesterday, and I keep eating them today. I feel like I need food, but it's like everything I um, keep eating keeps upsetting my stomach too. And I have had a horrible headache. I've had a headache for days and days. I feel like they've already cranked something up. They've already dumped some chemical on us. They cranked up some fucking. God, oh my God, I hope that this weekend is really the crash. Is that if this star alignment was the same star alignment and it crashed and I think it was the 20s, and then also there was another one. I don't know. I saw somebody talking about it. I hope that it really is. Hope it really does crash. That it really does have to do with that, because I really feel like that is going to start so much movement. So much will start changing, even though it's going to be a lot of anger and a lot of depression and sadness and freaking out and stuff. It's going to get stuff going. Because then I feel like as soon as that starts going, then we're going to start seeing Joe being going down. More and more shit will just start going and going and going. So I fucking hope so. But yeah, anyways, I think I will go make something to eat. And I don't know, this day is already just God, I just it's like this energetic thing too. It's just it's like it's chaos. It feels chaotic. It feels overwhelming. It feels like disconnected. It's like so much. It just feels like, oh my God. I have been sitting here all morning just like, oh my God, I cannot believe. Like, sitting here telling my guys, just get me the fuck out of here. This like makes me want to just go drive my car off a cliff just to get out of here. But then it's like you can't get out before you can get out. It's not like you can get yourself out ahead of time. If I'm not supposed to be out, then I'll end up in the hospital and I have to lay in there and get better so I can still go out and do whatever it is I'm supposed to do. There's nothing you can do to get out of the game unless you're supposed to get out at that time. And I had patients that tried to do themselves in and lived. Like you can look that up. There's a lot of people. There's people who've shot their own damn faces off and they have to live. So yeah, you could go out and drive yourself off a cliff and then be in a wheelchair forever. So it's like you gotta just sit back and relax and be like, okay, we get through this. We'll get through this. It's it will just, but it definitely feels like that, and that is, and that's intrusive thoughts. That is where don't follow those impulses because seriously, you can't get out unless you're supposed to get out. It's impossible. It's completely impossible. We're trapped and we're trapped here. We're trapped here until our time is up, until we completed the task we came here to do. We're trapped. And if you even try and get out, you can get torn even more. So it's just like, why? Why did my soul want to just come in here and experience just being sick all the goddamn time? Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. So there's got to be something really good coming and that makes all this worth it. Because I can't imagine all of our souls were sitting there going, hell yeah, I'm going over there and just suffer for. It's gonna get so much better. This part is definitely hard. And I just, to me, it seems like if we just got something, just a little thing, just a little bank crash, a little thing like that, and see how things start moving, it's going to give us so much more hope. It's going to give us so much more stamina to keep going. Because that is what I feel like. I'm just like running out. I'm just exhausted. I'm so fucking tired. I'm sick. I'm beat down. I'm worn out with Stella being sick. And it's just fuck. And I just can't even believe it's almost 2024. Like, I seriously did not at all think that they would be able to keep this going this long. And it's like, fuck. This is crazy. But, you got to think about like, this is the Great Awakening. And I just see how slow it is to get people to wake up. Fuck. Yeah, there's an energy of exhaustion. Yeah, fuck. That's how I feel. Just like just exhausted, burnt out, just like, fuck, I'm tired. Um, to go and do what we know it's not that bad. Do go and do that. We know it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad. But those definitely, or it's like, oh my, when Stella is getting up every 2 seconds and crying, like right now she's been quiet, but all morning long she's been jumping up, crying. We've gone on walk after walk. She keeps pacing around and stuff, and that's where I'm like, oh my God, what in the fuck? Like, how long is this? Like, it's mental. God, this is mental. I don't know. I'm proud of you taking on this channel thing because it's the truth. I investigated that back in 2016. We're worth billions. See? Yeah, the chattel thing. See, we are the energy that they base what their value is. Like other people, like just going back to gold, but we were the chat. We were the collateral. That's why, and they treat us like it. You're not pulling your weight. Fuck you. I'm sure they would want me dead, but I don't think that they can do it. They can't do anything. They can't kill you unless it's your time. And it has to be a part of your contract, you know, it has to be why you came in. And I ain't come in for that. I came in for this next part. So going through all this part is but I know that I came in for the next part or I wouldn't see it so clearly. It wouldn't be so much a part of my vision if it wasn't supposed to be that I was here for that. That would make no sense. That's why I'm always saying you got to go with your vision, follow what is being shown to you. Yeah, and I truly believe that this is going to be, um, you know, the when we stop being their chattel and stop being their collateral, and everything that they have is going to go back to us. It's gonna be so much different. It's gonna be so much better. Just that this part is so drug out and so long and so hard to go through it. I see what's going on to happen next to the golden world. Yeah, the golden age. It's going to be the golden age where everything is going to be gold. Everything's going to be based on gold, but it's also going to be based on silver. But it also, it's, to me, like the golden age is going to have to do with like, I don't know, like the sun. Like we're gonna have the real sun. It's gonna be just like this golden, beautiful, like everything's gonna be beautiful, like golden and sparkly. And then we're gonna have all this abundance. We're gonna have, you know, all this money, like where we're all so stressed all the time. Like we need money, we need money. Well, it's gonna switch, or we're gonna have so much money that it's gonna be like that won't be a need anymore, but it's still gonna be lessons because of you know, what do you do? What do you do with your time? What do you do? You know, and then there's going to be communities that are going to be built up, and so people are going to have to participate in their communities. So it's going to be still a lot going on of like learning and establishing uh, people, even though that I think that is where people are going to see, like we all thought we had all these money problems, but it was kind of like they were putting all of those problems on us in regards to money, but we didn't ever really need money. We could go out and make ourselves happy. We could go out and make things and the stuff we need. Them doing all their corruption, trying to sell us resources and sell us land and sell us homes and stuff. It is all built on corruption. That's why they needed all this money and shit. But we don't need that much. But it's going to be like there's just an accessible amount. There's going to be just so much that it's not going to be a concern. I think. I think that's what the abundance and the golden age and all of that time is going to be about. I think it's going to be very, um, everybody's going to feel so blessed, but it's going to be like going through all this part, you know, going without and really prioritizing and stuff. Like I can see how it all works together to get us where we're supposed to be. But I still like, I definitely have days where it's just like, oh my God, some of these days are so hard to get through. It's just like it's so chaotic. It's just eerie. It's weird energy. You feel weird anyways. It's like I'm not even that connected to this place. Like, you know, it's not like I feel like I just saw I saw this person. They were talking about something about life, and they said about you get one life. You just get one life, and it's what you do with it. It's like what a horrible way to live, to think that. Because that's not how I think at all. You know, I don't think, you know, like, oh my God, if I die in this, what am I going to do? It's my one and only life. What will I do? I don't think like that at all. It's just like, to me, it's like death is getting out of the game. There is no death. Death is just getting out of here. That's all it is leaving this game. Um, I swear I'm going to get my glasses. I can see so much better. Hold on. Oh my gosh, Stella, I'm just getting my glasses. I'm not leaving. Again, I don't know if you can hear the wind too. It's really windy. Probably dirty too. It's really windy outside, but it's the same thing where the windows like, or the wind is way up at the top of the trees, like they're blasting in wind or something. It's weird, but you can hear the um wind chimes because the other day uh, it was windy, so windy, but that you couldn't hear the wind chimes at all. Okay, there was so much information. Okay, I see what's going on happening next to the Golden World. There was so much information out in 2016. It was all in check in the Federal Reserve. Is my gem reserves utility exists for sure. Yeah, they took all the money out of the Federal Reserve. I still believe, like you, that we were just going to be able to just poof and be wherever we want to be with our higher friends in our better timeline. Then we just see it and be there. Yeah, I think so much has to do with us letting it's this letting go of us thinking like it's what they tell us. Just like they've told us that we're spinning out in space. They told us they landed on the moon. All their bullshit that they've told us. It is the same thing. Just like you can age yourself back by going in and putting everything in your house back to an older age when you were younger. Like it's just wacky, some of this shit. And now my battery is gonna die. So I will have to be going. But I will come again tomorrow and go live. It's fun to get to talk, especially I've been thinking about you so much too, wondering how you had been doing. Not only being a chattel, but they are taxing us to death. Yeah, all the taxing, all the fucking licensing, it's all corrupt. So all corrupt. All this stuff, the way they do the house loans, all of it is so fucking corrupt. About 12 to 15% of our earned income is very, yeah. And they tax stuff that they already tax. They just tax, tax, tax. Yeah, taxation without representation. But see, they just can keep on taxing us and taxing us, and we keep on paying and paying and paying. We just do whatever, because it's like whatever the abuser does, we just go along with it. And we have to all just start standing up. We have to stop paying our shit. We have to start saying, no, you guys are corrupt. But everybody gets scared because everybody's scared of losing their credit score, of losing what they do have. But that is why, because fear has been such a stagnation in people's lives that everything has got to be ripped away from people. Everything's got to collapse so that everything is taken. And then, in the taking, then it's the reprioritizing so that people can start deciding what they want. Boy, it's been on my mind constantly, about the house. Like, is this where I want to be? What do I want? Where do I want to be? What do I, just thinking and thinking and thinking about, where we're headed, where we're going. And and I know that the fucking, that doomsday map has something to do with where the safe places are going to be. And I swear, I really feel like that it's just way too weird that they're bringing so many people here. I really wonder where they're bringing them all from, if they are bringing them here as evacuation, because it's weird. Yeah, that YOLO ships for the birds. They have uh, there's a whole bunch of these like long boats that are going down some river where they're bringing a whole bunch of people. And then they've got all sorts of boats that are just pulling up from everywhere, just all along the coast, like in Italy, all over the place. It's like, where in the hell are all these people coming from? And why is it all of a sudden this mass thing that there's just thousands, hundreds of thousands of people leaving where they're from and rushing to all these other places? It only makes sense to me for it to be that it's something to do with the evacuation and the cataclysm that is coming. And the safest place is going to be is whatever is on the doomsday map. That's our places that are going to be safe. If that map is correct, I can't stay where I'm, me either. Mine's not on here. My place isn't. I've been checking. As a matter of fact, within the last month or 6 weeks, you've been in two of my really, not just your asset, but I'm telling you, my dreams. I am not just having dreams. I'm like going places. I'm going places. I'm sitting and talking. I'm having people explain things to me. It's totally trippy. you were in a vehicle with me and some other people, and I was in the front seat, and I looked in the rear view mirror, and you were in the back seat. Weird. And on another dream, me and you were doing something very important. And know you're myself. Yeah, see, I'm sure that this is this is bringing so many of my soul tribe. And I know I'm going to get out there and meet people. I just know it. I just feel so sure that I'm going to get to go out and go and meet people. Like, what is the reason of us all to come together if I don't get to go out and meet everybody? Excuse my tongue to text my. So, oh, that's why some of the words come out is because the that's so interesting. That is really cool. Showing up in people's dreams. It's so crazy when you have people show up in your dreams too. Because I've had people show up in my dreams, and it's crazy. How am I doing? My phone's about to die, so I'm gonna have to. Oh, I guess I could plug it in over here and get. Um, hold on just a sec. Come in, honey. What is it? Let's see if I plug in my phone. So I can just get cancer. What the hell? I gotta fight cancer every day. That's all we do is fight sicknesses. Let's see if that stays going. Okay, let's see. I'm doing good except for being stressed out. Bob Odenkirk showed up in your dream last week. Who's Bob Odenkirk? It's weird when people come, because I've had people come in my dreams, and it is weird. Especially, there's one person in particular who keeps showing up in my dreams, and it's weird because I didn't know him beforehand. But I don't know who is Bob Odenkirk. But it's really trippy when people show up in your dreams because it's weird. It's like you can totally feel their energy. Like, could you tell my energy? Like, could you completely feel like my energy? Like, not just see me, but to feel, because that is what with that other person, I can feel like how they feel. It's weird. It's trippy. Let me see. Let us know. I'm so surprised they're calling you today. So sweet. I don't know. And I think you think I was I don't think you're a weirdo. I don't think you're a weirdo or a creep. There is so many people who relate to me. So many people. That seems to be the common. I mean, I don't really get that many people. On TikTok, there's way more bullies. There's way more rude people, way more mean people. And like, I just had one, and I went and checked her account. I was like, are you for real? Like, how comes in and says such rude shit to a stranger? And she was a real person. She told me, I was so crazy I needed to be medicated or something. I don't know. But I blocked her. But most of the people are, kind and relate and stuff. That's why I feel like, going out and meeting people is going to be like all people like on my same wavelength. Like all of you guys who are, listen to me. It will be nice to go out and be able to talk to people. Because I really do want to go out and do that. Bob Odenkirk is a famous actor, portrayed the character of Saul Goodman. Oh, on Saul, Better Call Saul. Oh, he showed up in your dream? So you are somehow connected to him. You have some sort of soul connected to him. Love that song, Creep. Oh, me too. I'll sing along with that song. That song, I feel like I think a lot of us can relate to that song. The Doomsday Map here on Mobile Bay is I'm obliterated. Same here. Yours is Vortex. I kept thinking that your place was gonna still be there. Mine, I looked on these maps and mine, I don't think mine's gonna be here. Hello, new friends in the chat. I'm so glad to get to. I will go. I'll go live again tomorrow after the thing. After the one I do in the morning downloads, then I will do this because this one will take all until tomorrow to download. Even though it's not doing anything, it's weird because it will go straight on for other people, but then for me, it will say, it'll just keep downloading and keep saying it's making a hard copy. So I don't fucking know. Um, the you only live once thing. I never got trolling. What's the point? I don't know. I don't get why people go to be rude. Like, why wouldn't you spend time talking to people that you enjoy talking to and stuff? Like, I can't imagine spending my day and going and trying to go onto accounts that I don't agree with and then trying to put them in their place or tell them what they have to think or something. That just seems weird. Um, I keep thinking maybe Four Corners might be a place to go. Yeah, I think that the Four Corners will. I think there's going to be a lot of Wyoming, a lot of Montana, but the Mississippi is going to go wide. It's going to become huge across. And I think we really got to pay attention to that map because it keeps happening in all these other places. It's turning into that map. So I think we got to pay attention. And I think there's going to be a big old fucking disaster over here on the West Coast. Big old fucking disaster. But I kept on thinking about going down to like Alabama too. I kept thinking Alabama would be a good place because I love Louisiana, but Louisiana's going to be gone. Louisiana's going to all be gone. A lot of Texas is still there. A lot of like fucking Utah, um, Nevada, Arizona, all those places are going to be gone. A lot of Colorado's going to be gone. I think some of the places it's going to be like mountain ranges, maybe it'll still be sticking up. Because I think over here by me, like the Cascadia or Cascades are supposed to still be sticking up some. And like I'm right on the edge of Mount Baker, but I think my whole spot is gonna be gone. And then when I saw somebody showing about whatever this, if this fucking comet or something, because there's a whole thing about there's people who think that there's gonna be this comet that's gonna hit over by Seattle or something, and it's gonna cause a big old tsunami or something. I don't know. There's That's the thing is like any of the places we're at, we're all of these places that like anything can happen and you just don't know what's going to happen. Like something's going to come in, something's going to come in and wipe us out, but you don't know what it's going to be. And it's also so crazy too, is because so much of it has to do with creating heroes too. Like there's heroes that are being created from some of these disasters. And so even though it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be here in the middle of a fucking disaster, but it's kind of like you're gonna be where you're supposed to be. There's nothing you can do about it. And maybe it's because you're gonna be a hero. I don't know. That's the kind of shit I gotta tell myself anyway. Oh, you've been to the Vatican? I've been to the White House. We went to the White House when I was a little kid. My school went to it. Come on, I know. Dimensions coming in. I know I've been on missions. You're number one when my finances these. I've got to come see you. Yeah, we got like a meeting thing, a big meeting place. Like we'll make our own Burning Man, our own meeting place. Maybe we'll just all have to start our own commune. We'll just have to find our own place to make our own commune. We just got to find a safe place. I'm a weirdo. I'm a real weirdo. We've got so much in our lives. See, that's what I think. It's the weirdos. We're all coming together. All our weirdo people. We gotta come together, and then we'll just make our own weirdo village. Like, where you have to be accepting or be a part of the weirdness. Not, but I do think that, um, we are. It is kind of like. Well, I don't think anybody will listen to me unless they're a little weird. So it is. I feel like that we are kind of a group of weirdos. If you ask my kids, we're definitely a group of weirdos. Should I on YouTube again? And I was doing brown banana down high school. Weirdo village. I know that would be like a perfect village, just the weirdo village. Is I don't know what it would all be about. I don't know what everybody's different things are, but I feel like I don't, man, I'm really curious. I'm curious as to what's going to go down. Is it going to be where we're all going to meet up someplace? Like, there's got to be a reason why we've all come together like this, you know? Like, really, don't you think? To me, it seems like even though I haven't got to meet the people, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason for me to, there's got to be something where I'm going to get an opportunity to go out and meet people. And then in that time, but I got a big draw where I really want to go to Scotland too. I really would like to get a place in Scotland. And then plus I always see this like, it's really cool looking white like ranch. And it is kind of old fashioned looking too. I don't know where it's at, but I sure see it all the time. But it seems like it would be so romantic to be in Scotland and be up there on some big mountain or something. I just want to go. I want to experience so much stuff. I want to go experience places and go experience and socialize and have fun and dance. That's one thing too. At Weirdo Village, we would definitely dance. There would be a nightly dance. I think we'd have to have music and dancing all the time. It would be for sure. Yeah, it'd be well adjusted in sick society. Yeah, it is. That's why I feel like. I feel like I'm going crazy. This world is so crazy. Yeah, I can feel your. Oh, you can? Yeah, I have felt because I've had somebody who I didn't know come in my dreams, but I mean, it was somebody who I didn't know at all. Well, I knew who they were as they were in movies too, but then they showed up in one of my dreams, and then when they were first showing up in my dreams, it was really weird because it was like there, it was weird. It was like so weird. Like there's some of that stuff, like, I feel like I'll talk about it more, but it's like some of the stuff has to play out. Like, whoever it was who had that person in their dream, what was the deal when they were in the dream? Like, what was their purpose? Did it seem like that they were telling you something? Did it seem like that you were getting an old message from a past life that they were trying to remind you, or they were just visiting you, like they knew you? You know what I mean? Um, me too. I want to go to Scotland so bad, and especially when I found out, I have family heritage there. But then also, that is going to be a thing that are places that we have heritage to our ancestral or whatever, that we have citizenship in all those places. That's why I know that this immigration thing is going to be a big breakdown, is going to happen. That's going to, so we're going to get to see like how our freedom, that we're going to get to go places. So that's what I think, anyways. Is it new or increasing? It's being revealed. That's what I think too. It's everything is being revealed. It's all the shit has been going down. Now we're seeing it. It just was going down like under our nose before. It is, and that's what I think too. It's all going to be revealed. And then in the dream, the guy was holding a mirror up to me, but my reflection wouldn't show up. Huh. That's interesting. Literal revelation, just not like people think. Oh, I am 1 minute walk from Mobile Bay, Dog River, right? Go on the coast, lived here all, and I haven't lived anywhere for very long. The longest time I've ever lived anywhere has been in Washington State, in Spokane. It was like 25 years. Since I was 3 years old. Wow, I've always thought that's so cool when people have been living in the same place for a really long time. It was like, to me, I always felt like I was like chasing something. Like I always thought there gonna be a better place or something. And then I would see like one movie that I really like to watch is what is that called? Lovely Girls, or Lovely Girl. It's got like Uma Thurman and um Lauren Holly. It's got a bunch of people in it, but I really like it. Oh, I think it's got what's his name, fucking that Ratzenberger or whatever. God, that guy. I don't know what the hell that guy's deal is. Is that guy fucking mental or something? Like, surely you can't be that stupid. Like, ugh, it's crazy. But anyways, I love that movie. It's like a this small town and all these people that have always been there. I just always think that's so cool for people to have like be in the same place for a really long time like that and have all that the roots and everything. That was from the beginning of my time. That was never going to be my story. My dad was moving us nonstop. He moved us, moved us, moved us. I had to change schools so much, but I've always thought that was really cool to get that opportunity to get to stay in the same place like that since you were 3 years old. That's crazy. I mean, you're not your body. No, you're not your body. You are your soul. That's for sure. The body is an illusion. Maybe that was a good indication. And you've done well with your shadow work. Yeah, it seems like it's got to be somebody who was you're connected to with your soul that they would because they wouldn't come into your dream otherwise. When the person came into mine, the first time they came into it, it was totally weird. And they came with their dad. Their dad came into it, and I didn't even know who their dad was. I had to go look it up. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. And when they came in at first, they seemed confused. Like they didn't know what was going on. And then they came back again a few weeks later. And then it was like, it was such a weird progression because they came up and they started um like they wanted to meet me but they were running from me or something. It was really weird. And so then I thought, well, that's weird. And then they came again in another one, and each one has had these different things. I mean, at one of them we were in a parade. At one of them they came to somewhere I was and they just kept watching me and watching me. There's been so many weird things. And man, when people come into your dreams and you're not just dreaming about somebody, when somebody comes into your dream, it is so different than just like it's a complete representation. It's like this whole person's there. And then you can feel them. Like I could feel this person's tension. I could feel their confusion. And it was really strange. And then they've come in my dreams a bunch of times since all of this stuff happened, especially since a certain date. Then they start coming into my dreams all the time, but they were in my dream, I don't know, a few weeks ago. But all that stuff is just really strange, like, because it's not something that we have been taught or learned about. So then when somebody's coming into them, because our soul connection's our real connection. The soul stuff is what's real. All of this other stuff is what's fake. I think that is what causes so much confusion because so many people try and get so caught up in the 3D part of living and this other part, the soul part, what your soul's doing here, the whole soul life, the whole soul world, that's all real. The rest of it isn't real. But the rest of it is, it's like the part you see isn't real and the part you don't see is real. But because you don't see it, the people get confused and don't think it's real. And they focus more on what they see, more of what they experience in the 3D. So then they are not focused on what's real because the real part is the spiritual part. It's the part you don't see. And that's the part you should be focused on because that's what changes your whole your trajectory even of your life. Like even when I saw those people yesterday and and all upset and both of them, I mean, they were ready to get divorced. They're just so frustrated and they just everything they try doesn't work out. If things you're trying aren't working out, it's because you're not trying the right thing. You're going in the wrong direction. And that right there just shows like when people are off from their soul's journey and they're just trying to make this world work and they're just sitting here fighting against or trying to force something and just causing themselves frustration and anger and I think a big thing that they cause themselves too is feeling like a failure, feeling like they're doing something wrong. It works for other people. Why isn't it working for them? So I think that that is a big part of this discontentment of why people feel like shit about themselves. But it's like you can't fight against destiny. Destiny is gonna do its own thing. Whatever you're trying to do to change it or force it, you're going to find yourself frustrated because you can't change the universe. You can't change the energy the way it's supposed to go and stuff. It's out of your hands, it's out of your control. Oh, you're from Syria? What's going on in Syria? Is it because is it having a lot of floods too, like with Libya and stuff? Are you guys having a huge amount of disasters and stuff? And what about the civil war and stuff there? What is the climate of the government and the citizens? Like what's happening there? Are you guys in a, in civil war? Are you guys fighting for uh, your your rights? Oh, thanks, thanks. Because I think that is what's happening in some of these different places. It's like they've pushed us and pushed us and pushed us, and we all have to stand up for our rights. And it all has so much to do with like so much with the history and stuff. Like, I'm really curious too of what they're going to uncover over here in America because, like, I don't know about with other people what you guys see, but they keep showing things over here with these maps and stuff, like where they're saying like we're really Egypt, that we are really like they've flipped it all, they've just switched it all, and that there's like hieroglyphics in the um, what is that thing called? That big old hole over there in Arizona, the Grand Canyon. So there's hieroglyphics in there. There's like all sorts of hidden stuff. There's these mounds that have hidden pyramids and chambers. There's all these chambers going under the ground. And I don't know if they're using some of the chambers and shit as their tunnel system, but there's a lot of lies about America and where, but I think there's lies on all this shit with our maps and stuff. I think all of our maps are just fucking lies and bullshit. Fake mirror when it comes to the Egypt thing. Yeah, there's something weird. There's something weird. Oh, think mirror, not fake mirror. Yeah, there's something weird about it. There's something weird about, and I thought it was weird too, is when stuff goes, I don't even know when it, I think it was when it was Ohio, when the train thing, one of the derailments or something, when they started showing some of these names of the cities over there. I was like, what in the world? Why are these cities named like all these like Middle Eastern places? Why do we have all these cities over here that have the same names? Like it's weird. Like wouldn't that be so weird if we're really right next to Middle East and we're really a part of it or something and we just didn't know? It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me, this fucking place. Everything is evil is being exposed, that's for sure. And I think a lot of people are not going to be excited when they start getting exposed for their own crimes. Hidden truths are being revealed is actually good in the end. Now, that's what I think too. This is going to make good changes. It's just hard to go through, especially because people just don't get it and they're fighting against it and they really think they're losing everything and they don't know what they're going to gain. You're going to gain everything. You're going to gain freedom. You're going to gain independence. And it's going to feel like loss, but it's going to really be gaining. You hear how to set me as a moderator. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, so I would. Yeah, that'd be really great. Um, let's see how if they have a way to do it. Mute microphone cancel. No. No. Oh, look, I could put a filter on this. That's funny. Chat. No. I don't know what the hell. Turn the phone camera around. See, I'll have to figure out how to do moderators. I know that people do that. I just don't know how. Let's see if I put it as a, let's say hide user. Add as a mod. Oh, look at there. I'll put you as a managing moderator. I don't know what the fuck it is. But now, Vortex, you're a managing moderator. whatever the hell that means. I don't know. I don't know what your duties are, but you are. That's funny. Okay, so um, if you can figure out how to do it, yep. Okay, you're set. People are fighting it, haven't done the inner. Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's going to be such a big that's where I think there's going to be a jump on the people. Like all of the work that we've been doing on ourselves and on our consciousness and on our healing and our understanding of this place and all the stuff that we've been healing just about this place, about ourselves, our roles, then I think that is going to be a big jump. I really think there's going to be when shit goes down, like when the banks start crashing and stuff starts changing, it is going to be like an elevation for some people. It's going to seem like there's a group of people that are going to do so much better. And I think that's the people who've been doing the work, which that is going to be, that's where we're going to see our truth, you know? We won't have to guess. We will for sure know, like, if we've been doing the work, because whatever we're going to face, something's going to, hit us hard and strong. It's going to be what we need to work on, whatever it is. So no matter what it is, no matter what goes down, that is, just be grateful. Even if it's like, oh, fuck, I thought I had done way more work, and you're suddenly bombarded with, like, I don't know, a relationship with your mom or something. And in that with this morning, that was driving me crazy too, because I was telling her about um, Stella. And sometimes I swear to God, sometimes I think like, why do you want to parent me so much now when I'm in my 60s? You could have done that when I was in my teens. Like, but she does get really into this, like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, you got to go get the Pepto-Bismol, you gotta, and she just starts giving me all this fucking shit I gotta do, and it's like, Mom, God, and I don't want to be mean to her or something, like I don't want to go in and ridicule her or whatever, but there is a lot of stuff in relationships that are going to keep coming up and pushing you and stuff. So when they do come up, don't hide from them. You want to heal them. You want to, deal with however you feel and figure it out, like how you feel. Like, and I can choose to feel however I want. Like, but I got to think about how will I feel in the long run? Like, what is it? Like, really think about how you'll feel. Like, am I going to feel better if I'm ridiculing her and putting her down? She already puts herself down so much. I mean, she's waiting for Jesus to come and save her. She doesn't even believe she can save herself. So, do I want to sit here and put her down? No. I don't want to make her feel worse. I don't want to, especially if she's trying to do something good by telling me, but it is fucking annoying. When it was going on, I was thinking, I bet you there's a lot of people who's having parent or a husband or a kid or something that just keeps saying shit. It's just driving them crazy. And, those are kind of like tests, challenges to your patience. It's like to test yourself on your patience and shit. Let me see where I was back here, I think. If you figure out how, okay, I got that. People are, as individuals get their awakening, if they stick with the lies and trickery of TG4 horsemen, pharmacia, world, yeah. And the ruling, yeah, see, they all got a pick of who they're going to believe in or trust or something. Like, they got to see the truth. That's why, to me, like the love and light, just ignore the truth. It doesn't make any sense. You got to see the truth. You got to release it and stuff. And see, they'll go crazy at what's happening already. Yeah, I tell my kids and shit all the time. Even my mom, and she thinks of herself as being more awake. But the awakening is so far over everyone's head that I know of, that I speak to. And it wouldn't matter if my mom was able to talk about some of this stuff all through 2020 and 2021 and stuff like that. There's still so much stuff where she's so confused. And then with my other people in my family, it's like, oh my gosh, I try and tell them stuff and they're just like, they just think I'm crazy. Oh, sweetie. Oh, my sweetie. Feel so bad for her. That really, yeah, that really eats me up when she doesn't feel good. It's so hard. Uh, the having a sick, uh, I don't know. To me, it's like having a kid. Like my relationship with Stella reminds me so much of my same one with I had with my kids, and I'm sure my kids would be totally offended, but even though they know it, because they joke about it all the time, like Stella's the favorite daughter or something, but it is like you get so close to if you bond with the animals. Like I think it's about timing. It depends on what that animal's there to teach you because I've had other animals that were teaching me different things. But this one, what she's teaching me, like, I'm so attached to her. I'm so, like, I feel like it's gonna feel like losing a child or something. And I'm not even shitting you this morning. I was fucking felt like I was having such an anxiety attack when she was crying and jumping up, and then there was peel, and I was like, oh my God. Oh, what if this is it? Oh, and I start like panicking. It's so crazy. I felt like I couldn't breathe good. I felt like my heart was pounding. I could not think. Like all of this stuff of keeping people in panic and stress and stuff, like you literally can't think. You literally can't form a thought when you're just stressed out. And and then plus they're doing it on the long term. They're trying to do it so much to people that people are just have no ability to even maintain or something. Everybody is just stressed out and falling apart all the time. But then they've always got a pill to try and get you hooked on, or some other kind of street drug. That's what they also like, the street drugs. And, what was that? Because I just keep seeing things where it keeps being more stuff with the CIA stuff coming out, more stuff on the corruption, more stuff on even in the colleges where they were uh, studying or they were uh, studying. Is that the word? Practicing or whatever on uh, people with the chemicals and stuff, like the students. And so there's stuff all coming out about that they were doing studies or whatever on people, but they've been doing that in all sorts of places, on all these villages and stuff, as whatever the whole camp Lejeune or whatever, and that is all on the forefront of stuff because it's supposed to be kind of letting us know that this is what they do, this is what's been going on. They do it in the schools, they do it, they even do it in elementary schools and stuff. All of this, all of the all of the different things. It's just this whole world is just so corrupt. It's so heavy, and then to see it, even when you see how dark and heavy it is, then to just keep trying to go and go and go. That is what's so hard. It's like we need some sort of like relief, some sort of energetic relief or something. That's why I think it's going to feel so much better just to have something happen, the financial collapse, something to go in that direction, to go over so that we can, that is just the energy. I just feel like it's going to just feel like such a relief when things start going the other direction. And so I am just gonna really hope this weekend is the financial collapse. That finally something, even if it is, I swear they'll drag it out. They'll drag it out. Be like, oh, two banks and a fucking hedge fund or something that's collapsed. And it'll be like the next week, oh, two more, and the next week, two more and two more. It's like, fuck, why don't you just drag this shit out? So, sometimes she just makes the funniest faces at me. I know she feels so horrible. And then it's so ridiculous too to go run to the vet and take them to the vet, and then all of the money it isn't even doing anything. They don't test stuff. They want you to pay huge amounts for all these different tests, and the only thing that they will give you is more medication. How many times I've gone in and pay all these tests, and every time they come back and say, well, she's got arthritis, she's got hip dysplasia, she's in the late stages, she's going to have pain. You need to put her on anti-inflammatory. They had her on the gabapentin anti-inflammatory. They've put her on like 4 or 5 medicines before at once, and I just have her on the RSO and the CBD, and then I even didn't give her very much of that because I was like, well, maybe she peed because she was laying there and she was just conked out. And then she peed, uh, because she was asleep. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that she's not getting that sick, but she definitely is stiff. But then we go out for a walk and she's like fucking running down the road now. She's running. She was yanking me. Oh, and this one woman, she walks around with her little tiny Lhasa Wapso or something. And she was coming around the corner, and Stella's already had an altercation with that dog, and that dog is like fucking vicious. And Stella is big and will go up and stand over a dog and bark. And she'll even try and do chest bumping and stuff. But a lot of dogs are too small. But she likes to just do this chest bump and bark in people's face. But she never would bite anybody or do anything like that. These little dogs, they'll come and fucking jump up, attack her, start biting her face and shit. So that lady was out walking it. And then we were further down, but then the neighbor dog came out and started barking, which got Stella's attention. So, and I couldn't even see. But Stella, this is the thing with dogs, is they recognize the communication. Like they can tell what the different things are that dogs are saying. It's a total different bark when there's a person walking by, and they'll start barking and passing the message down to each of them. And so it was like that, because I didn't even know the person was walking by. I thought that the neighbor's dogs had just come out, and so she went off running because she wanted to run over there to get close to them. And then when I turned and I saw that lady walking with her little dog, and then she seemed to get irritated. It's like, check your way down here by my house. Go back down there by your house. And it's with all the way at the other end of the street. And so she turns and starts walking the other direction quickly. Like, Stella's going to run over there and eat them both. But then she walked super, super slow, and she looked back and saw, and Stella was pulling me like a dog sled. She was yanking me down the road as hard as she could. And I'm holding back as far as I can, like tipping back, holding and scooting with my feet. And she is pulling and yanking and, uh, I'm it looked like a dog sled the way that she was pulling with all of her might. I was like, okay, she cannot be that sick. How would she be able to do that? How would she be able to go out and just keep running and be able to just pull me like that and stuff? And so it's not like she's on her deathbed. But every time she starts doing this whining and crying, I start feeling like she's on her deathbed. But I think she just is like a drama queen, and they are environmentally spraying us all. Environmentally, we're under attack, no doubt about it. Everywhere we live, everything we eat, everything we smell, everything we breathe, everything we drink is all under attack. And so I feel like, she's sick, I'm sick, probably we're all sick. But at Weirdo Village, we won't have chemicals. So, like, that's how I feel. At Weirdo Village, there'll be a lot of dancing, a lot of music, a lot of singing. I think that, I like big old barbecues are like, I thought that was so cool when they used to do the street, what was I talking about the other day? Block parties. Block parties are really so fun. That's what I would want to have in my weirdo village. I would want to have a lot of block parties, a lot of barbecues, a lot of musicians, a lot of music, a lot of dancing, a lot of socializing. That's what I think life is more about: socializing, going out and meeting people, talking to people. I think we've wasted so much of our lives at work, working away and trying to get ahead and trying to get somewhere. For some of us, so we had jobs where we got to interact with people. So we were still getting to experience that, but like, ugh, especially once quarantine happened, like they started making people like work in their homes by themselves. And I've seen where people are sitting there saying like they make $35 an hour and they still can't make it. They're still scraping by. There's people who are saying like they make $80,000 a year and that they're having to put stuff on credit card, they can't keep up. But then you see this stuff about what they did with the house inflation. Like there's fucking people paying a couple $1,000s for their house payment. I think there's people who are paying like $5,000 for their house payment. Like it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Like we need this all to crash. Like it's not sustainable. Who in the world can do that? And then is the people who are willing to just go work and work and work and work 2 or 3 jobs so that they can have that American dream, while the other people are just ready to give up and just like, this is some bullshit. And so that is like this huge divide, is like the people who are willing to keep it going and just do whatever it takes, and then the people who are frustrated and fed up. And I don't even know that all of them realize that there can be better, that there can be something different, that we can make the world a better place. Because it seems like so many people just don't know what to do. They just don't even know. So I don't know how it's all going to work out. There's going to be people who are going to be coming up from out of the woodwork that are going to be like leading people in certain directions, because so many people don't know. They literally don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't, and then plus just seeing like, where is it going to be? Like, I think that they're going to start like moving us around in the United States. Like, I think, like I said, I think they've already been doing kind of like evacuating California for the people who want to leave there without saying too much. And maybe just getting a huge amount of people out will help when they start trying to move more people. But I don't think they intend on just trying to kill a ton of people. But there's going to continue to be these giant storms, these giant big things that are going to come in and kill tons of people at one time. Just like in Libya, Hawaii, and no telling. Like I don't even know, in all these different places that are having all these horrible floods, all these horrible disasters, what the totals are. If people are getting away from them, and it's mostly just land and homes being lost, because the land is all going to change. We're going into like this, the parts of the land that are going to be like the new map part is going to be like newer. It's going to be like, it's not going to be all inhabited. Like it's going to be like more over here in the United States, it's going to be more of the flyover parts. That's what I think. We're going to, all of the places that were so highly inhabited, I think are going to be gone. I think they're going to be gone underwater, under mud, under fire, under some kind of disaster. And then we're going to kind of have like more of a clean slate. But I think there will be a lot of like template kind of little towns and cities around that will give people like, well, we could do that. And there's really cute ones like over by Wyoming. Like there's all sorts of cute ones, but you know, the seeing where it's going to be. But that's what I feel kind of like, is like that's what I need to do, is start going more towards like the safe places. Like I know I'm not in a safe place. I know this place is going to be underwater. I don't know how soon it's going to be underwater. I don't know, like, I don't know that there is any saving this house. No matter what happens, I don't know if there's any saving any of this neighborhood. I don't know if there's any. And this is like Bellingham is going to go underwater, if Seattle's going to go underwater, if San Francisco, if LA. Like, that's a tons and tons of people that were all inhabited in those places. So that is going to be all of the land when we move in. It will be all like going in. But there's so many problems with all of the coastal part, because they've given it away to the UN. They gave them the rights to it. So that's going to kind of like come out too. Like, I think we got to go through something that's going to have that come out. So there's going to be some part, we're going to have some crisis somewhere. And it's not going to be, and it could be what's going on in New York right now, with some kind of crisis where we're going to see that wasn't a good thing for them to give away, because that'll be another treasonous thing, another crime that'll bring down a lot of people. So all these different things, but everything is going to be moving us more towards the middle part, off of all of the coastal parts where most of the people are. So all of the parts where we're all going to go inland and start building communities and stuff. And then it's going to be so, it's going to be kind of like what the community is like what the people do with the community. Because a lot of that, I mean, there will be a lot of mountain parts left. There's going to be mountains, but there's going to be like when you just look at the land, like when you think about like Wyoming, I think is pretty mountainy, but Montana is really flat. Like a lot of the parts that are going to be left, it seems like there's going to be a lot of flat parts, So I don't know. We're going to have to build them up to be cool cities, I guess. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't know anything really. I don't fucking know anything. I'm just trying to get through all of this stuff. But it's weird though, all the stuff that keeps coming into my mind and stuff. Like, man, I just see. I always go back to that. It just starts weirding me out. It starts really weirding me out. Like why I can see some of the things, and then if I start thinking, well, maybe I don't see it, but then it's like all this stuff starts coming into my head, showing me that I do see it, and then it starts being, well, why do I see it? Why don't other people see it? Why do I see it? It's kind of like, why do I have to see it? Like it's rough. I don't know what part that I'm supposed to play through this. Because well, that's gonna be one thing too. When this shit starts going, we're gonna understand what the hell we're doing here more. When our truth is shown to us, when our truth is revealed, when we get to see, what we're doing, where we're supposed to be, what our part is that we're playing, and then I think that is gonna be where good things are gonna start happening for some people. But for all the people who have not been paying attention, it's gonna seem like a lot of bad things are gonna happen. And even though I've been trying to tell my kids so much stuff, I sent something to my daughter too about the food stuff. And she, okay, we get it. Stop sending this stuff. Like they don't want to see it. They don't want to. So I don't know. They keep thinking like I'm just crazy. I'm just making this stuff up. And then when it goes, is it going to have helped them that they are going to have seen it, or is that going to hurt them? Like that they weren't listening to me, and then they're going to have all that to face. I don't know. There's a part of me that's just like, I gotta just quit saying anything. But then it's hard to not say anything. It's hard when they're sitting there uh, eating poison, for one thing. It's just nonstop eating poison. I don't even remember one of the things. Like, there's so much stuff that they keep coming out on the food that just gets more and more shocking. Like, oh, because my mom was sitting there saying about getting the Pepto Bismol. Well, I just seen a thing about Pepto Bismol is so fucking bad for you. And how much ever I've drank, and whatever is in it, I guess it's one of those things that just stays in your body forever. And it is, I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones that they said is as bad as if you were drinking, what is that stuff that they put in the radiators? It's supposed to, people used to get poisoned by it all the time. There's a bunch of poisons that are that bad. And then we just drink them, and then somehow our body keeps going and keeps healing, and then we keep drinking this shit and eating this shit. And then, we wonder why we're getting sick. We wonder why we're aging. We wonder why our hair's falling out. We wonder why all of these things is because all this goddamn poison that it's not killing us, it's just making us sick and aging. So, anyways, I am really starving. So, I'm gonna I'll go figure out something to make to eat. But I will come back tomorrow and do a live again. So we'll do this again, and then you guys can all visit. It's fun to go and talk and stuff. But I have that fucking headache. I want to go lay down. I swear, I just want to go to. I wish I could just sleep through this whole thing. I really do. I wish I could just go to sleep, and then I could wake up, and we would be like the bank's already crashed. If we could just get through to just something big, if we just didn't have to have all this like filler time, all this time where it just drags day and day and day out and day in and day out, and then to have something big happen. So I swear to God, once something big starts happening, it's just gonna go 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 go. Even though there already is big stuff, there's already big arrests and shit going down, but it's just like somehow they still say like separate. It's not taking the whole thing down. I just feel so certain it's got to be the money thing. It's got to be because this whole thing about Is Juana Saban said it, and it's been said the whole time. I bet you Trump has said it himself. The money thing has to collapse into Joe. They cannot have it collapse any other way. It's got to go under Joe because that is the way that the people can accept it. And all of this build up to it. It's like people are expecting it, and people are going to be mad. People are going to be angry. But it's got to be the next thing. I just can't. It's just got to be. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.